Representative Stephanie T. Bolden has her seat right up front. Good morning, everyone. It's really great to be here with all of you on the northeast side of Wilmington with our mayor, Mayor Pazicki. Thanks for joining us, your team. We've got a whole lineup of speakers, so I'm going to try to be brief. We're here this morning to announce a $25 million investment from the American Rescue Plan funds for this Reach Riverside project. You'll hear from Logan Herring in a minute, who's a leader of that effort, but I want to thank the board. This is not new, as you can see. The project, the units being built behind me are part of the Reach Riverside project, which is a holistic approach to revitalizing this area. When I think of President Biden's slogan for all the investment in communities across America of Build Back Better, this is a great example of building back better. And that could be the motto for the Reach Riverside project. And I want to thank all the people, all the folks that are involved with Reach Riverside, Charlie McDowell and your team. Put your hands up. And again, you're going to hear from Logan in a minute. This is what a redevelopment project should look like. It's a holistic approach to it that doesn't just include new housing units, which obviously are critically important, and we're going to talk about those, but also includes educational services from preschool to higher education. It includes social services. It includes health care. I saw Bettina Riveras from Christiana Care. Thank you for being involved as well. And as I said, this is not a new investment for the state. A while back, as we were putting together our capital budget, I said to Charlie, Charlie, it's time to think big. He looked at me and he said, we're already thinking big. And they were. And this opportunity presented with the American Rescue Plan and Build Back Better will enable us to supercharge and accelerate the development of these units to bring them online 5 or 6 years sooner than they otherwise would, and that's critically important. Before I turn the microphone over to Eugene Young, I just want to thank all the people who've been working in this project for so long. They've been following the model of the purpose-built community. They've been getting advice from that organization in the lower part of our country. And they've done a tremendously positive job for our city and our state. And I want to thank all of them individually for their great work, which makes it possible for us this morning to make this announcement of appropriating $25 million more from the American Rescue Plan resources to supercharge this project. And with that, I'll turn the microphone over to Eugene Young, who is the director of the Delaware State Housing Authority and a St. Mark's graduate.
Absolutely. Thanks, Young. Good morning. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm new to this role. My background's in nonprofits, and so anytime when someone says $25 million, I go crazy. So I need a better good morning on a great day such as this. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right. Thank you so much. Governor, thank you for that. I'll be very brief. Such an august panel here. I would just like to bring you greetings on behalf of Delaware State Housing Authority, and also as one of the team members of the governor's cabinet. I've been many places where it's commonly been said that your budget is a moral doctrine. They say your budget is a moral doctrine because it shows what you value and what your principles are. And I couldn't be any more thankful for the governor for this major investment, because it shows where his values, his principles are on this specific project. For all the delegation members that have been fighting hard to get funding here, this is a grand opportunity, and it's truly a beautiful moment in time to be able to share this with everyone. I also want to say how I'm coming from St. Mark's High School. We're in a car. It was Logan's mother's car. I call her my mother, Mom Tony. And she was taking us home. This was pretty much the first time I ever met her. And the three of us, as being goofy kids as we were acting up, acting silly. And she pulled over on the side of the road on Miller Ave and proceeded to wear us out. And one of the things that she did was she said that we have an obligation to not be joking around, an obligation to do things and take the ball past where our parents and our grandparents have brought it. And she instilled in us this drive that you remain friends, you work hard, and you do good for your community. And I just want to say thank you to her, and thank you to Logan for keeping that promise. And I ask that all of the special thank you to the Reach Riverside team, Charlie, everyone that made this possible. This is a great team effort, and I just want to say thank you all and all the best. Thank you. Am I passing it down? Oh, and now I'm passing it off to Logan Herring.
Logan and Gene back together again. 10 years after that story, Eugene and I started a nonprofit, Delaware Elite, and he's talking about running nonprofits and not used to this type of money. We would rejoice after 25,000, let alone 25 million. So we have come a long way. Senator Darius Brown was talking about you, Governor. Like, you didn't, no drum roll or anything. You just jumped right into $25 million. Like, no suspense or anything, just right to the point. And I appreciate it. Thank you, Governor. Thank you. Let's give it up to the governor in the state of Delaware. A huge deal is an understatement. The state of Delaware has been supportive of this project for a number of years now. Prior to this, we have received $13 million, including $10 million this year from the bond bill. Senator Darius Brown, the work that you have done, thank you. Thank you, sir. Oh, she's next. Representative Bolden, thank you. I know our city councilwoman, Xanthia Oliver, for this district, all of our elected officials, all of our legislators, thank you so much for continuing to champion this project. It is a holistic project. It includes everyone. Everyone is a part of this team. Thank you to all three of my boards, the Warehouse, Reach Riverside, and Kingswood Community Center. Can you please give them a round of applause? Our staff drive this work each and every day. We are 130 plus strong. You'll see whether they have their Kingswood, their Warehouse, their Reach Riverside gear on today. Please stop and say hi to them and learn more about what we are doing. To all of our partners, the Wilmington Housing Authority, Penrose, DeSabatino, Eastside Charter School, Delaware State Housing Authority, the list goes on, Christiana Care, we cannot thank you enough. I talk about this Thanksgiving model where everybody brings their best dish to the table. Today, we have a little bit of leftovers, but we're still hungry, so we're going to keep asking for more food on our plate. To the investors, I see some of our investors here, Chris Grunder from the Welfare Foundation, I see Bank of America, M&T Bank, and the list goes on and on. Thank you so much. I see my brother in the back with the Dallas Cowboy shirt on for moral support. I appreciate you. I'm only going to take 2 more minutes of your time because now I feel like I'm going to be run off the stage. But we made a promise when we started this work. We have a tagline at Reach Riverside, with the community, for the community. And we put the community at the forefront of everything we do. As an example, DeSabatino, on this project, there are 12 new hires. 8 of the new hires are Section 3 residents, which is 67%. The requirement is 30%. 6 of the new hires are city residents. That is no formal requirement. 80% of the companies working on this project are Delaware companies. 20% of the companies working on this project are MBE, DBE companies. That's a big deal. If you were to walk around this site and you do a hard for the foreseeable future, we will continue to be heard to bring equity and justice to a community until we need to be heard no more. And when that day comes, we will all rejoice. Thank you for being here again. And next up is U.S. Senator Tom Carper.
Long time ago, when I was privileged to be your treasurer and then later your congressman and then governor, there was a minister, a Baptist minister, if I'm not mistaken, and he was blind. I don't think he was born blind, but he lost his sight later on, I think in his youth. His name was Otis Herring, and I used to wonder. He did amazing things, and and Lisa remembers, and Chris and all. He was amazing in terms of what his church did in the community. They just get together on Sunday mornings and pray and sing and then go home. They would go out to the community and do all kinds of things to empower people and lift people up throughout this neighborhood. And I used to wonder, what would and he did it blind. He was blind. I said, how amazing could he be in terms of his leadership and breadth of and reach? I said, what would he look like? He would look just like this. He will look. Give this guy a round of applause. And Reverend Herring, if you're listening today, you can be proud. Thanks, Lon. That's all I got. Not really. We're down in Kent County over the weekend, and did an event that had a bunch of kids there. It was a car event, and kids were pretty excited. The couple of kids there, I think they're probably third, fourth, fifth graders, and one of them said to me, "What do you do?" I said, "Pardon me?" I said, "What do you do?" And I said, "Well, I'm a United States Senator. Every state has two." And they said, "Well, what do you do?" And I said, "I help make the rules for the country, along with Senator Coons and Congresswoman Rochester. We help make the rules for the country. Just like you have rules in school, rules on your bus, rules at home. We have rules for the country and call them laws, and I get to help make those." And this one little kid said, "What else do you do?" And I said, we try to help people. We try to help people. Matthew 25, which Chris and Lisa and I quote a lot, when I was hungry, did you feed me? When I was naked, did you clothe me? Or thirsty, did you give me to drink? When I was a stranger in your land, did you welcome me? I don't know that it says much about when I lived in poverty and, I needed a place to live and needed good schools to go to and access to medical care. I don't know, it doesn't really say that in Matthew 25. But I think the inference is there. There's a guy over at Charlie McDowell. Charlie, would you raise your hand? Charlie McDowell, raise your hand. Charlie, give him a round of applause. This guy is amazing. This guy is amazing. I've known him forever. Charlie and my wife and I go to the same church, Westminster Presbyterian. About 4 years ago, Charlie said to us after church service, he said to my wife, he said, "Martha, we'd like for you to be on a board." She had chaired the board for Boys and Girls Club for the state and did a lot with the Boys and Girls Club. He said, "We'd like for you to be on the board," and he explained this project. And we went home afterwards and over breakfast, and we talked about it. And Martha said, I said, "I'm burned out." She's burned out. She chaired the fundraising efforts for Boys and Girls Club for Delaware, chaired the board for, she said, "I'm just burned out. I can't do this." But Charlie was persistent, and he got her husband to agree to help a little bit. And the role that I could play, as Chris knows and Lisa knows, we cannot pick up the phone and call foundations and say, "How about giving money to a great cause?" We can't do that. But in order for this project to work, foundations had to help out here in Delaware and across the country. And one of the things we found out, Chris Coates chairs the ethics committee, so I don't want to get in trouble with the ethics committee. But I do have a friend who's involved in that committee, so he might be able to get me a pardon. Hopefully not. Hopefully not neither. But we found that I was able, it was legal for me to make calls to foundations around the country and just ask them to take a call from somebody involved with this project. And they did. A bunch of them took the calls, and some of them I think have helped out. Put your hands together just to say thanks to all the foundations who have helped out and helped making this project work. The other thing I want to say, when Lisa bought Rochester, was our Secretary of Labor, and John Carney was our Secretary of Finance. Bettina, where's Bettina? Bettina, give Bettina a great round of applause. She works at Christianity Care now. She used to be our legal counsel. And we worked on something that was really focused, called the Family Services Cabinet Council. The governor's reinstated, restored it. But the focus of the Family Services Cabinet Council was to get all of our cabinet secretaries to work together to strengthen families. That was it, to strengthen families, to try to make sure that kids had access to early childhood, trying to make sure that folks had access to health care, trying to make sure that people had a decent place to live, and to find out how we could all work together as a team to make that happen. And the Family Services Cabinet Council actually showed huge progress and promise. And then the next governor, it was not her deal, and the next governor was not his deal. And then John Carney becomes governor. John Carney becomes governor. He has restored, reinstated the Family Services Cabinet Council with a focus on addressing basic causes, root causes of poverty. Give him a great round of applause. This is hugely, hugely important. The last thing I would say is this. We got a couple of gals, John and Lisa know them, the King sisters. The King sisters from Dover, Delaware. They both work in my Senate office, and they have a family saying, and their saying goes something like this: teamwork makes the dream work. Let me hear you say that. Teamwork makes the dream work. One more time. Teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah, it really does. It really does. And what we have here is a demonstration of what can be accomplished when a team gets together with great leadership, and that something that seemed to be impossible could not only be impossible, but could actually be ahead of schedule. This is a day to celebrate. This is a day to celebrate. Happy to be here to celebrate with all of you. Congratulations to everybody. Mayor, great to be with you, my friend. God bless. And now the next speaker is a person, and he deserves no introduction, but he's going to get a train whistle. And every time I introduce Chris Coons, I don't care where we are, Kent County, Newcastle County, Sussex County, I introduce him and the train whistles start blowing. I don't know how he does it, but this man works harder than anyone I know, and he's a great. I love Chris Coons. Chris, give him a great round of applause. All right, Chris.
Thanks, TC. That's a reminder of the train will be in just a few hours to head back to Washington to try and sort out getting the Build Back Better bill passed through the Senate. In memory of Reverend Otis Herring, 29th Proverbs, 18th verse. Without vision, the people will perish. Without vision, the people will perish. And as all of us who've been involved, either in government or in nonprofit leadership or in community development, have known for decades, it's so rare that you get all the pieces of the Jenga puzzle coming together at the same time and in the same place. And where we stand right now is a place where over years the vision has gone from a dream to a concrete plan, and from a concrete plan to concrete in the ground. Nothing changes people's lives like safe, sanitary, decent, and affordable housing. Nothing matters like safe, sanitary, affordable housing. It's a foundation on which you can build a family. It's a foundation on which you can build a life. And this horrible pandemic we're coming out of has shown us the cracks in the foundation of American society. The reason our president is running on and now leading on Build Back Better is he recognizes those cracks in the foundation, and so do all of us. And here, in this place, at this time, we have a chance to not just paper it over, not just pretty it up, not just put a facade on it, but to rebuild literally from the ground up. A neighborhood first built after the Second World War with housing that for its time, for its standard, met those goals. A proud community center, a vibrant community, but as we all know over recent decades has steadily sunk. And the numbers, when we've had a chance to meet, Logan and you and the work team have put me through the numbers are stunning about the challenges faced in this immediate community. Yet look at this gathering. Look at who's come to this moment. Look at the foundations, the corporations, the builders and developers, the state and local elected officials, the federal officials. We're all in. We're all in and we're all here because we've heard voices from this community for years saying it's not enough to just show up at election time. It's not enough to just show up at one service. It's not enough to just show up when it's convenient to you. We need investment to rebuild this community from the ground up. And folks, let's give a round of applause to the work team and to everybody here who's built this new foundation and is putting wings on it today. Governor, when we came together in Congress and passed unanimously a bold plan to provide resources to come out of this pandemic, you and the General Assembly had choices to make, priorities to make, and that you chose to put $25 million into this project, I think is a tribute to your understanding of the importance of housing for the opportunity for skills, the opportunity for families, the opportunity for growth. And to the builder and to the community leaders, the priorities that you've shown in terms of making sure that people from here, work here, live here, that's the kind of values vision we need nationally. I'll give a moment for that to get a round of applause. You may have heard quickly in passing a reference to purpose-built communities. I've gone to visit the original purpose-built community in Atlanta. I've gone to visit the purpose-built community in Tulsa. I've gone to visit the purpose-built community in Cleveland. And it's the real deal. Folks, this is one of dozens of communities around the country that have taken a vision, a dream, and reduced it to a plan and brought folks together to do not just housing, not just child care, although child care is critical, not just health care, although health care is essential, not just a place for youth and teens, although that's essential, not just economic development, although that's absolutely a key part of building it, but all of it wrapped together in a comprehensive, well-thought-out plan that is deserving of sustained investment from the private sector, from the city, county, state, and federal governments over years to come. This is a model for the country. And so I'm proud to be partnering with Senator Warnock in pushing for a brand new $10 billion community reinvestment fund in the Build Back Better bill that will take this model to the country and show that what we're doing here is transformational for community initiatives. But I'm also excited for our dear friend and Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester, because my little bill about advancing Section 8 choice vouchers is still holding on to $500 million in the House version of Build Back Better, and there I just did it. I worked her before I got to introduce her, because we got a lot of good work to do together in Washington. Ladies and gentlemen, give a strong round of applause, first for the folks who've made this vision a reality, and then for our next speaker, someone who, as Secretary of Labor, understood the opportunities for skills and a future that is fighting for the values and priorities that are the foundation and the next chapter in our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Senator Carper. He specifically said, good morning, Lise. I first want to just say that what a special day. What a beautiful day. I mean, of course, both the senators quoted the Bible, and those of you who know me know that I do love the Lord, and I must say this is the day that the Lord hath made. So we're going to rejoice this morning. Rejoice because this is a beautiful day. And it's funny because last night when I was ironing my clothes, getting ready, I was thinking about all the different players here. I was thinking about my first time when Logan, and really it was Fred Sears who said, you need to come see this. And I remember Don Fulton. I get in the room and Charlie's explaining things, and Don Fulton, I find out he's the money man, and I'm like, oh, okay, we're on to something here. And just to hear not just about the partnerships, but to hear about the community, to hear from the people who live here. Because to me, that was what was most important, the people that live here, the people who live here. And so last night as I was ironing my clothes, it wasn't a scripture that came to me. I was actually watching a Netflix movie, and the girl said the word abracadabra, and she said that the word abracadabra means it's a derivative of I will create as I speak. I will create as I speak. Now let's be clear. Yes, let's be clear. This ain't magic. This was hard work. This was work. This was dedication. This was a vision, as Chris mentioned. And it's a long time coming. And so I am look, another clap. So I am just pleased to be here. I want to congratulate Logan. I want to thank the governor. I want to thank my counterparts in the Senate for getting the American Rescue Plan dollars that came here to Delaware. Because, again, this takes work. And even though the senator was working me on another project, that will benefit all of us. It is the compilation of all of us together. $26.4 million. That's what I heard. And then I heard 25, and then I had 24.6, but around $25 million to build housing. The fact that this project could have taken maybe 20 years, and it was shortened to almost 2 years, that's miraculous. That's miraculous. And it took all of us together to build back better. And that's really what this is about, building back better. And building back better is about roads and bridges and broadband, but it's also about housing. It's also about health care. It's also about child care. And so I am so excited to continue to work on it. But housing has been the #1 issue, as Eugene said, that I hear up and down this state. Housing. I've heard it from advocates. I've heard it from second graders who said to me when I went to a town hall with them in their school, can we work with you on housing? I heard it Saturday night in Sussex County from a Republican legislator. Housing. And we know in our state and in our country, you could hold 2 minimum wage jobs and not afford to live in an apartment in our country. That doesn't make sense. And so what you see behind you is a vision, is a foundation, is hope. And I can speak from authority as a kid who lived in the Champlain projects in Philadelphia and then moved to Delaware to my parents' first home on 39th Street where we lived for 40 years. And the feeling as a kid to walk into that house as a 10-year-old and feel like I'm home. This is ours. I'm safe. I got a place where I can learn. I got a place where I can be healthy. So for any of you who are concerned about public housing, I'm the face. That kid could someday be your congresswoman. So I just want to say, no abracadabras. You know, we're working here, like the work group. And I want to just share that I'm just proud to be a part of this. Just proud to be a part of this. I'm proud to work with the General Assembly, with Logan, with the community, with the private sector, with the foundations, with the governor who had the vision and took it further than a vision. You took it further than a vision. You made it a reality. And we thank you for that. And we hope that this is a model, not just for the country, but for the rest of Delaware. All communities in Delaware, all children deserve a decent, affordable house. And last but not least, y'all know I was the Secretary of Labor, so to me, this is about jobs, jobs, and jobs.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. I get to be the cleanup crew behind Abracadabra, the book of Matthew, the book of Proverbs. But sincerely, it is an honor. I believe every one of us who have spoken today, whether we are in elected office or we're executive directors, recognize the value of coming from within the community. Today, thank you all who have put sweat and years of agony and behind-the-scenes work in housing. And thank you to our governor, who I know has been so committed to making sure all lives have equity, and to our members of the U.S. Senate and our Congresswoman, thank you so much, and to Biden for the Build Back Better promise. As I sat here, all my comments were taken, but a couple points that I really want to mention that are really, I think, imperative to each of us today as we look at the partnerships, sitting down to the table, defining where to put the funds. Really important. The work group, Reach Riverside, take a look at their plan. They've got Empower, they look at Restore, and it's about getting economic mobility so that persons not only have rent opportunities for homes, but the opportunity for ownership. and the real pride. And that's what we set forth here in the Delaware model. I know when our state treasurer, Colleen Davis, sits down with our municipal leaders, such as Mayor Przicki, and they sit and they delineate where they're going to put funds in the community, I know they're going to is homeless. Miss Lorraine lives in a hotel, motel. Miss Lorraine is here from the city. It is so incredibly ironic that she texted me this morning. And she had some good news. She's not going to be here at the Riverside project, but she's going to be placed temporarily by the state out of the hotel. And that's very important news. That is what we are about. When our U.S. Senator Coons commented about housing being fundamental, about safe, affordable, quality housing, I will say, many of you know I hit the streets almost weekly with Dr. Gibney. I have been here door to door. And when I go to the hotels, we see children. We call it couch surfing. How can a child learn? And so our Congresswoman, you are truly spot on when you talk about the security of the home. And I look at Bettina, who recognizes the health implications. Folks, this is not only about economics, this is not only about health care, but this is about our environment and safety. Gun violence prevention, programmatic, substance use disorder programs, you name it. So I am thrilled to be here to kind of be the cleanup crew, Governor. I hope that I got everyone that we may have missed, but I wanted to turn it back to you, sir, and to say thank you, Governor, for caring. You hear me say oftentimes you're in public office. Sometimes people say things differently in public than they do behind closed doors. But let me tell you, this man's heart, everything you see in public, he says behind closed doors, and he is so committed to doing the right thing. And housing today in this community is so important, number one priority. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Madam Lieutenant Governor. Let me just close it out by thanking our congressional delegation again, Senator Carper, Senator Coons, Congresswoman Blunt-Rochester, for their work with the President, with both chambers in Congress for making sure that this money was available. I also want to thank Claire DeMattias as well. I'm going to tell you, this lady right there, man, she is tough. And she's been leading our effort in determining the allocation. You probably know that we announced $100 million appropriation to close the last mile for broadband in the lower part of our state. Each part of our state has a little bit different challenge, and we've tried to meet those challenges. The $25 million for this really important project, and a project that just doesn't start today. It's been going on now for at least 5 years or more with great planning, great leadership, with a holistic approach to the redevelopment. Talk about Build Back Better. This is a great example of that. But I want to go back to something that Logan said. Where is he? And by the way, Mom, when you had that confrontation with those young lads, you certainly got the word through and made sure that they followed your instructions in terms of what they've done the rest of their lives. But what Logan said was, this is of the community for the community. And I think that's critically important. And it's most important, Madam former Secretary of Labor, for jobs. Because without a good job, everything gets more difficult in terms of raising and supporting your families. And that's what this project, at the end of the day, is all about. And so my last word will be for DeSabatino and their team, who are the contractor on this project. You did great work on the other side of town, on the flats, with many of the buildings that you did there. Obviously doing great work on this section as well. Thank you for meeting those commitments to making sure that those folks who work on the project come from this community and learn the skills that they need to be successful in life. So thank you all for coming this morning. Have a great day. You don't have to go to church this morning. You had some church right here.
If you're interested in taking a hard hat tour, who's leading that? Jeff?